When Russia invaded and annexed Crimea in 2014, little was done to stop it or actively help Ukraine get its territory back, a salient point given Russia's full-scale invasion of its neighbor that begun earlier this year. But now, Ukraine appears to be finally in a position to fight back on the peninsula with a spate of recent incidents in which Russian military positions and infrastructure in Crimea have been damaged. These, it's believed, are likely to be a part of Ukraine's tentative counteroffensive in the south as it seeks to dislodge the occupying forces and eventually reclaim its territory, once and for all. The latest incidents in Crimea took place on Tuesday when a fire caused multiple explosions in a Russian ammunition depot near Jankoy in the north of the peninsula. A nearby railway and electricity substation were also damaged as well as residential buildings, Russia's defense ministry said. The incident led to several thousand civilians in the vicinity being evacuated, although there were no serious casualties. Separately, Russian media also reported that smoke was rising from near Gvardeyski Air Base in the center of the Crimea, leading to huge queues forming at the nearby Simferopol railway station as residents tried to flee the region. Russia's defense ministry later said the incidents were a result of sabotage but gave few other details as to the cause. Ukraine, meanwhile, has not openly admitted being responsible for the blasts, but several officials have hinted that Kyiv could have had a hand in the incidents. Andrei Yermak, a top official in Ukraine and advisor to President Volodymyr Zelensky, said wryly on Twitter Tuesday that the latest incident was a part of the demilitarization of Russian-occupied Ukrainian territory and that Crimea is Ukraine. Fellow Ukrainian official and advisor, Mihailo Podolyak, echoed the sentiment, saying the incidents were demilitarization in action. Moscow has repeatedly said the aim of its special military operation, as it calls the invasion, is the demilitarization of Ukraine. The incidents this week are by no means the first of this type. Last week, a series of blasts were reported at Russia's Saki military base on the Crimean coast, destroying a number of Russian warplanes in the process. Again, Ukraine did not confirm or deny responsibility for that attack, and several others that have taken place in recent weeks, but analysts say they're part of a counteroffensive launched in southern Ukraine over the summer, with the aid of Western-donated weapons, to regain lost territory like Crimea and Kherson just to the north on the mainland. Kherson was the first city to fall into Russian hands after the unprovoked invasion began on February 24. But Ukraine has begun a counteroffensive to retake the city, attacking bridges into and around the area in recent weeks in a bid to disrupt Russian supply routes to its troops. Attacks on Russian positions in and around Crimea are likely part of a coherent Ukrainian counteroffensive to regain control of the west bank of the Dnipro River, analysts at the Institute for the Study of War said in their latest update Tuesday. Russian supply lines from Crimea directly support Russian forces in mainland Ukraine, including those in western Kherson Oblast, province. Ukraine's targeting of Russian ground lines of communication and logistic and support assets in Crimea is consistent with the Ukrainian counteroffensive effort that has also targeted bridges over the Dnipro River and Russian logistical support elements in occupied Kherson Oblast, they said. The net effects of this campaign will likely be to disrupt the ability of Russia to sustain mechanized forces on the west bank of the Dnipro River, the ISW analysts added. There is every sign that acts of sabotage or resistance and counterattack, as Ukraine might label it, are set to continue, and the increasing frequency of such events is likely to concern Russia, which has various military bases in Crimea and uses Sevastopol as the headquarters of its Black Sea Fleet. Zelensky on Tuesday warned people in Crimea and other heavily occupied areas of Ukraine not to go near Russian military installations as Ukraine appears to be stepping up its counteroffensive. Every day and every night we see new reports of explosions on territory that is temporarily taken by the occupiers. And I am asking now all our people in Crimea, in other regions in the south of Ukraine, in occupied areas of Donbas and Kharkiv region to be very careful, Zelensky said on the Telegram messaging app during an evening address.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.